Hello and welcome back to Rue's Slow Living, being pecked. And today what I want to talk about is balance. So that could be work-life balance. Please don't peck me, darling, it hurts. It could be work-life balance. You may not hold down a full-time job or a job at all, but you may have a family or children, whatever commitments you have in your life, even if it's volunteer work or simply caring for animals. We all have commitments in our lives, and we all have the potential to tip things the wrong way and start to spiral and feel out of control. And worst case scenario, that can lead to total burnout. So what can we do to stay balanced and stop things from tipping the wrong way and stop ourselves from spiraling down into burnout? So I've just come to sit in the shade because it's really warm again today, and we've been having some wonderful hot days, but today got quite a breeze, haven't we, Pippa? And but the sun is shining, so it's just quite nice to sit in the shade. Hello, beautiful. So I'm going to start with some sad news. You will notice there's just one dog. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm still struggling with it, but our beautiful Kaylee, our three-legged greyhound, who we had for 12 years, so we adopted her when she was 2, and she had an amazing life with us, but very sadly, a month off her 14th birthday, she fell onto the coal bucket. And she injured her stump on her amputated leg, which she's been doing so well without for, gosh, I don't know, 6 years. And had she been a younger dog, she probably would have been fine, but it was just the tipping point really for her. So she had it stitched up and she was doing okay, but then she deteriorated and she really wasn't doing okay. And so we took the decision that was right for her, although broke our hearts, and we said goodbye to her. My lovely colleagues supported me through it. Chris, myself and Pippa, she was hospitalised at this stage, so we went in to visit her and we sat with her, all of us together, and she ate a little bit of chicken for us and she had big cuddles. And we let her drift off to sleep and find that rainbow bridge. So Pippa's quite clingy at the moment, which is fine, but she's doing really, really well, and I'll be honest, I don't quite know what I'd be doing if I didn't have her. We had a lovely day, I can't even think which day, they all blur into one, where we took Pippa for the first time to my parents' house. And oh my goodness, she was so well behaved. I was so proud of her. It's the first time she's actually been to somebody else's house. So obviously she lives here with us. She's been to the flat up where I work, which is kind of like a house because it's got some sofas and a coffee table and a kitchenette area with a dining table, and then there's workspace and lockers, all that kind of thing. It's our break space. We can work in it as well. And so that's kind of like being in a house, but it's the first time she'd actually visited a house, and she was wonderful. So, getting ourselves back to the topic of today, which is balance. So, we are all different, and as I mentioned, we've all got different things in our lives that we need to balance. But essentially, we're all juggling however many balls we're juggling. And do you know, whether you're juggling 2 or 100, it's just as essential, and we mustn't feel any less validated, and we mustn't compare ourselves to others. Some of us may have been through some really difficult times in our lives. Some of us may have been fortunate not to have been through such tough times, but it's all relative, isn't it? So I often say, if the worst thing that's ever happened to you is that you've broken a posh fingernail, if you're somebody that likes fingernails, it doesn't lessen how upsetting and traumatic that may feel just because your next door neighbour may have been involved in a serious road traffic accident. And I'm certainly not belittling something as major as that. I'm just trying to explain how I feel about that perspective. So whatever is happening to you in that moment is valid, and we will all react to that. Hope that makes some kind of sense. So how do I, and how could you, keep that balance? So those of you that have followed me for a long time will know that I have struggled with my mental health, and in fact last year I had a complete breakdown. I burnt out, and I was off work for 5 months. But during that time, I invested into myself. I had cognitive behavioural therapy. I checked in regularly with my GP. I really took stock of myself and what it is that I need. And it was wonderfully beneficial. And I came out the other side of that a much stronger person. And I carried those 2 key words that I now carry with me: acceptance and perspective. Now recently, and I have mentioned it, possibly here on YouTube, but definitely on my Instagram page and my Facebook group, a really major thing happened. And I can't talk about the details. It is still ongoing. But what it made me realise, so the negative was I tumbled down into a big heap, and it's been a very traumatic and difficult thing to deal with. But the positive I've drawn from that is that, almost like a kind of game of Jenga, it only took pulling one piece out for things to tumble. So it's taught me that I wasn't in such a secure and stable place as I thought I was. So that's a real positive, because I can work on that. The other thing is that whilst I tumbled, and I really did hit rock bottom, because I'd got the toolkit and those coping mechanisms in place, I actually was able to build things back up, get myself back on track a lot quicker. So having that toolkit, and it's different for all of us. For me, it was the CBT, checking in on myself, and recognising, and I stopped, and it was a quick one. It was a quick tumble, but I find it really useful. So I now work on a traffic light system. It's something I learned through CBT, but we can apply it to anything. I am not a professional. If you genuinely need help, then seek it. But this is my experience, and I wanted to share it with you. So I work on a traffic light system. So green, all systems go, everything's fine, but I must check in with myself regularly. And when I forget to do that, that's when things kind of come unstuck a wee bit. So green for go, all systems go, everything's good, but I must just keep an awareness. Amber is that kind of warning, pay attention. And for me, and I'm going to share this with you, it might sound crazy. You may see I am looking a little like a scarecrow. I think I'm channeling my inner Amy Winehouse with my hair. But the 2 main things that I start to neglect, and these things happen before I realise, so now I can recognise, are I stop washing my hair, I tie it up, and I leave it. And I don't take as much time and attention as I should when I clean my teeth. So I do still clean them, but I use my manual toothbrush twice a day. rather than getting my electric toothbrush out. I've got lots of little, you know, the little brushes that go in between your teeth, flossing, all that malarkey. Spending that time. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But they're the things I've recognised in myself. So if after 3 or 4 days I think, oh, I haven't picked my electric toothbrush up. Oh, look at the state of my hair. That's my amber, that's my warning. Before I tip down into red, to take stock and say to myself, okay, what is it that's troubling me? Is it emotional? Is it physical? Is it a workload? Is it something at home? What is it that's troubling me? And what can I do to correct that? So they're my kind of early warning signs. And that should avoid us tipping into red. But sometimes the rug gets pulled from under you and boom, you're down there in the red. And that's where I find my keywords. So your keywords could be very different ones, but again, for me, it's acceptance and perspective. So I accept this situation, whether it is, you know, my chronic illness is flaring up, because that can have a real impact on my mental health. I can't change it. I accept it. This is happening. Whatever this thing is that's happening, whether it's your pet being sick, whether it's a relative, you know, being ill or you can't get to them, or some discord that's going on, if it's something at work, whatever that thing is, an unexpected bill, you know, your car breaking down, whatever it is, I accept this thing. Can't change it, it is happening. Whether I want to lie on the floor and cry about it or not, it is happening. I accept it. And perspective, I keep perspective. So it is one element of my life. So yes, it was heartbreaking losing Kaylee, but I keep perspective. Kaylee was an old lady. She'd had an amazing life with us and she wanted for nothing. And we gave her the dignified and comfortable end that she deserved. She didn't suffer and she was an old lady. I'm sad, but that's the perspective. And the second part of that perspective is losing Kaylee and the sadness and the emotion that went with that and continues, and the grieving process that I'm going through. I've still got Pippa bouncing around and making me happy. The horses, Mr. Victor the tortoise, the chickens, the sheep, the farm. I have all of those things. And it's okay for me to still enjoy them. That's the other perspective I must take. So anything that happens to us doesn't remove, so this major thing that's happening in my life at the moment, it doesn't take away the fact that I've got my arms and my legs and I can swim and I can walk and I can paddleboard and I can stomp around the farm and I can do things. So I hope this is making some kind of sense. And then something that I've recognised in myself recently is that the hair, the picking up the manual toothbrush. What is it that's going on? Is it just the loss of Kaylee, or is there more to it? Is this big thing that's happening? Is it a combination of things? And looking back, I've realised that whilst it's been wonderful, you will have noticed that I've been out and about. I've been out adventuring. I've been going out during the day. I've been going out and doing little camping trips. I went out with my friends and stayed with them in their caravan. And this is wonderful, but it's also a trigger warning. I'm not spending enough time at home. Why? Why am I not spending enough time here? And it takes me back, and it's similar but nowhere near the same, that when I was many years ago, in my younger years, coming to the end of a marriage that had become very sour and I just wasn't happy, I became very obsessed with competing. So I was competing pretty much every weekend with the horses. I was training them in between. I was doing triathlon, so I was swimming, I was biking, I was running every single day. Push, 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 push. And at the time I didn't realise what was actually happening. What was I running away from? Why was I pushing myself physically? Why was I going out and doing all these things? just because I was running away from an unhappy marriage and I just hadn't recognised it. So, am I in an unhappy relationship? Absolutely not. Am I unhappy living where I live? Absolutely not. Am I unhappy in my job? Absolutely not. You know, so what is it? And I think I've just been feeling a little overwhelmed. The plot is still here in my head because I'm nowhere near where I would normally be. You know, I used to have it immaculate and I've kind of swung from one place to another. Are you eating grass? So it's, for me at the moment, I need to find the balance between absolute utter perfection, where everything looks gorgeous and I've got onions in neat rows and the pathways are perfect and there's not a thing out of place and there's no weeds. That takes a lot of time and effort. You'll see this looks like a field. This is normally mowed and looks beautiful. Everywhere's just got a little bit out of hand. And because I felt that way, and it's very much the plot, I'm into my second year now of really letting the plot go. And it's made me question, do I need to start a smaller growing space? Do I need to get some help? You know, could I get a bit of a community group going that can come and also enjoy that space? That's another avenue. But why am I spending so much time going out and about and doing all these things when it's causing me anxiety that I'm not on top of mowing and tidying and getting rid of weeds and keeping on top of the plot, washing my hair, getting my electric toothbrush out? Why are these things not happening? So I've taken stock and I've had a good look and I've realised that I just need to spend a little bit more time at home, and I'm doing it gradually. So two of the things that I've been doing this week, I've been getting a little bit arty. So bringing myself back to being at home. I've done some painting and I really enjoyed the process. I was inspired from the little holiday that I had and that we swam in the sea, and I really enjoyed sitting down for a few hours and doing some painting. And then on an afternoon I got crafty and I tried a new craft and I made a little basket, and it was such fun. So I've always got bale of twine because we're on the farm, so there's always bales being opened. I had an old duvet that had got holes in it that's seen better days, which had some really pretty patterns. So I got some fabric and I decided I was going to crochet many years ago, and I've probably mentioned it in vlogs, but I just can't get my head around it. So again, acceptance. I accept it. Instead of frustrating myself and trying over and over and over, I can't do it. Something in my brain, I don't find it relaxing and soothing and creative. I just find it frustrating, and I've never got any further than making a worm. Those of you that crochet will know what I mean. So I've got a load of wool, a load of yarn, and I spent a lovely, probably 3 hours creating this gorgeous little basket. And it was fun, and it was mindful, and it was at home, and I got a little product at the end of it. So I've got a little basket that I can use. So where am I going with all this? Balance. I needed to take stock. So going forward, I'm going to spend a little bit more time at home. And a therapist I had some years ago reminded me, because I said I was feeling overwhelmed, and you know, this is a pattern with me, and I wasn't getting things done. So she asked me, what are the things you always do get done? So the animals always get fed and watered and sorted. They have their appointments with farriers and vets, and I go to the feed merchants. Whatever they may need, they get. They don't miss it. It happens. If I have a dentist appointment, I go. If I have a doctor's appointment, I go. Anything that's scheduled into my diary or on my wall planner, do the two, happens. So she suggested, why don't you schedule in to your diary time for those things that you feel are overwhelming, you feel you're neglecting, you feel you're not having time for, because then they'll happen. If it's in the diary, it happens. So schedule in some time to spend at the plot. Schedule in some time to sit and read a book. Schedule in some time for crafting, for mowing a lawn. The other thing I learned was that it used to be that if look, this is a right old state, okay? I would have had to tackle it all in one hit. And as a consequence, I have 2 prolapse discs in my lower back. I would have exacerbated that and ended up having a bad day, which then causes me anxiety. So my anxiety flares up. That makes my irritable bowel syndrome flare up. As a consequence of all the anxiety and stress and that happening, my migraines will flare up. So here's the thing. I like to make lists and I do a little box to tick things. So where it says mow the lawn or trim first, this is going to need trimming, I don't have to just tick that box and say, I've done it, spend hours. And I used to do this until I could feel my back going, oh, I've just got to finish. And then I'd spend the next day in bed, or I'd miss a shift, or I couldn't do the other things. And then the guilt kicks in and the spiral happens. So I could come out and do whatever I can, a strip, a quarter, a third, whatever I achieve, and stop. And I can tick that box and just put another tick box and do it over a few days. Doesn't matter. I don't want to have an immaculate, perfect lawn. And then the positive at the moment is we've got such an abundance of wildlife at the moment, the birds and the bees and the butterflies. So whilst it looks a bit of a scraggy mess, I'm providing something for nature, which is so important to me. What are you doing down there? So I hope I'm starting to make some kind of sense. So without further ado, I'm going to talk you through the things that I have been doing. I've been videoing some of it for you, but I'm feeling more grounded. I am going to tackle this. I've got a PT session this afternoon, so it seems a bit daft. I'm going to get all hot and sweaty anyway. But when I get home, I will be having a lovely long hot shower. I'll have detangled my hair. I'm going to give it a good wash, condition, might even top up the colour. So today is a choice. Today is a deliberate. I could have done it, but I'm choosing not to because I'm going to do it this evening. So I think I'm waffling now. And obviously Pippa wants to play, so I'm going to play with Pippa for a while, and then I will show you all the other things I've been up to this week. Come on then, crazy. You're going to leave it for me? Leave? Good girl. Ready? Go! Good girl. You're so good. Come on then. Good girl. You're going to put it... Oh, you're going on the chair. There we go. Good girl.
So we had a real storm brewing the other day, and all the trees were blowing and the shrubs and the bushes, and the blossom was coming down like confetti or snow. It really was something, but I knew the storm was coming. And here it comes. And here is Mr. Victor, the tortoise, enjoying his breakfast. He is loving this hot weather. He's totally turbocharged at the moment. So those of you that don't know, tortoises get their energy from the sun, so the heat and the UV, and they eat food for growth. Here is Pippa having a whale of a time in her paddling pool. and just generally being happy and playing with toys. And the horses have shed all of their winter coat out now, and they're looking wonderful, shiny and sleek and fabulous. And little pony, little Sunny, is currently in what we call his piggy pen. So essentially it is a corralled area where he doesn't have as much access to grass, and we're not being mean, it is for his own good. I have mentioned this before. Little ponies like Sunny are susceptible to something called laminitis, so we do need to restrict his grazing, but he's got plenty of water, he gets hay every day and a little feed as well. And he's close to the others, so he can still say hello to them. And we don't keep him in there permanently. And this was the painting that I was telling you about. And it was just so lovely to just sit at the table and completely lose myself. It's such a mindful process. And I used watercolours and acrylics. And here you can see a big tangle of baler twine and strips of fabric and my wool or yarn, and this is me creating that little basket. And again, a lovely mindful afternoon spent crafting. And of course, when we're doing something like this, like the painting or any type of crafting, gardening, or anything that involves sort of doing something that's using your hands and your brain at the same time, it's really difficult to think about anything else. So it's so good to be in the moment and to do a mindful activity like this. And there's the finished product. So I'm just about to start editing this video. I've got myself some toast because I'm actually quite hungry, with some blueberry jam. So please let me know in the comments below how you are. Have you found this useful? What are the things that you recognise in yourself that are your kind of alarms, your ambers in life? And do you have coping strategies? Let's all share, because there might be things that some of us haven't thought of. So let's share with each other the things that we do to support ourselves. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all again next week.